labeled the incursion into the southwestern Kursk region as a large-scale provocation.
Amid strategic advances by China and North Korea in the Indo-Pacific region, Japan and Italy are bolstering their military cooperation to enhance their defensive capabilities. Elon Musk has confirmed that the headquarters of his social media company X is relocating from San Francisco, citing the business environment challenges in the California city.
It is impossible to operate in San Francisco if you're processing payments, he stated.
The number of women obtaining abortions in the U.S. rose in the first 3 months of 2024 compared to the period before the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, according to a report released this week.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
No. Not gonna do it. I quit. All right, you're on your own. You're on your own. That's all I'm saying. You're on your own. That's all I'm saying. You're on your own. You're on your own. You're on your own. What's this all about now? Good morning, folks. I guess it's a good morning. It's still raining. It's been raining since it's been raining a long time. A long time. And it's going to continue to rain. It's Friday, August 9th, 2024. I think it's like 50 years since Nixon resigned. Maybe that was last night. The 8th or 9th of August, Nixon resigned 50 years ago. 1974 So anyway, not that that's important to you. It is raining. I became a Joe Rogan fan yesterday because I don't know if you're aware, but Rogan endorsed RFK for president, which I thought Rogan was going to vote for Trump. So that's one less vote for Trump in the tally, but also possibly like 11 million idiots who are going to vote for Trump might just follow Rogan down the bear cub eating, dog eating, cousin fucking, wife suicide encouraging, crazy person, heroin addict. That is RFK. And I'm fine with that because it seems he's taking votes away from Trump. The more the merrier. Get on board with Rogan, please. Follow him down the conspiratorial rabbit hole he's been down and he really feels comfortable in. Go on the RFK train. I love it. Good stuff. Thank you, Joe. Couldn't ask for more from a cult leader. Anyway, so it's raining here, and I have a situation Are you with me? I got a situation. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. It's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Um, I have an afternoon gig, which is going to be indoors. It's a facility thing that I have to pack up and get ready for. I have to get out of here by like 1:00 this afternoon, which means my evening gig, which is an outdoor gig, which is subject to rain out and probably will get rained out, is there's no way I can get ready for that. Get ready for that after my afternoon gig. So I have to take all my equipment, assuming the gig is on, even though I know it's not going to be on. It's going to get rained out, and I blindly trust the weatherman. So basically, when the show ends today, I have to hustle to get two different kind of gigs worth of equipment into my transportation, knowing that I'm going to one gig and basically not going to find out that my evening gig is rained out until after my afternoon gig. And maybe not even till I get there, because I'm going to be like halfway down Long Island and I still have another hour to travel on Long Island after that gig. I'm not going to be notified then. So I have to drive towards the gig anyway to get there to find out it's going to be rained out. Not looking forward to it. It's a crappy day for me. Crappy day to be me. But here I am complaining. Listen, life could be worse. I could have no gigs, right? Right? Got to look at the bright side. I could have no gigs. If you haven't noticed, I'm wearing my Robert Taylor comedy show. Robert Taylor has not been part of the program for I think almost a year. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with the other guys just overwhelming him. Or it could be me. Maybe I did something to piss him off. I don't know. There was a point where I would hear from him every single day, and now not. Okay, I think we have a good show for you today. Well, I say that, but I'm not sure that anybody's going to show up. I'm never sure if anybody's going to show up. We have a weird show for you today. Alvaro Gamboa, who is a Latino comedian who is from Brooklyn, who is also the host of the All Growth podcast. Now, I want to talk to him about that because I actually have a growth on my ass that I would like him to look into. He could actually look into my ass and see if there's any more growth in there. But All Growth podcast. Yeah, I got this thing on my head that might be skin cancer. Yeah, I think it started with cutting my head shaving, but it hasn't healed up now. It's been like 2 months, and I'm thinking maybe I'm going the John McCain route. Head cancer or head cancer, skin cancer on my head. Something. Who cares, right? You don't care. Go. You're saying go. Get out. Die already. I hear you. Listen, I would accommodate your request if I could. In the second hour, it gets even a little weirder here. We have Deborah Cohen, who was in a band that opened up for Joan Jett many moons ago, and then she got out of the music business and moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and got in another band. And she's been retired for a while from that. And now she's an author and performing. I don't know what the hell she's performing, actually. I don't. But I know she's an author of a book called Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. So who knows what the hell we're going to talk to her about. And I will talk about the Runaways, Joan Jett, and rock and roll. And then the Israel-Arab, Gaza, Guza, Hamas rhymes with dumbass. This is where I am today. Lastly, one more complaint from me. Yesterday was a day that will live in it. No, it won't live in it for me. It will live in crying. I'm going to cry about it. I haven't had a day like yesterday since probably 2009. Computer hell day. Here's what happened. Adobe Premiere, and we were talking about the recurring subscription model-based software. I think it was just yesterday. I got a notification from Adobe that they had debited my account for more than my subscription is, and I was wondering about that. It wasn't a lot of money. It was $18 more than the subscription. I think the monthly subscription is $59, and the whatever they took out was like $18 above that. And I was curious about that, so I opened my Creative Cloud dashboard to see what the extra billing was about, and I saw that my Photoshop and Premiere could be updated. So I clicked update, and then it didn't work. None of the Adobe software worked on this computer, and I spent all day trying to get it to work. Now, Stephen the Shitcom Libertarian asked me to do a reel for him in Premiere, and I could not get it done because I couldn't open Premiere, and I couldn't open Photoshop, and I still can't on this machine. And it was like one of these days where you're going back and forth. Now, Adobe has no real support whatsoever. They have a chat bot that you can ask questions, and it will run you through the same 3 steps over and over again. Restart your computer, make sure everything is upgraded, or uninstall, reinstall, all day long until about 1 o'clock in the morning. I was just burnt out from computer nonsense, and I'm angry at Adobe. So I'm looking into something different. I don't want to go Canva guy. I don't like these browser-based image editing programs. It's not the same. Not the same. And I've gotten quite used to Premiere, although I can work in Final Cut Pro and have for many years, but I haven't now for many years, but I did for I think since 1997 to up to about 2015, maybe 2014, was very heavy into Final Cut Pro. Now I've been using Premiere exclusively since about 2015. So I have to go back to Final Cut Pro on the video stuff. And Final Cut Pro is not reel friendly. It's not real. Short friendly. It's not, social media video friendly. And it doesn't do auto captions and all that stuff. So now it's gonna be more time consuming and all that kind of stuff. I'm whining. I am whining. Complaining. But it's all Adobe's fault. And if they don't get this fixed, there's going to be a lot of negative advertising for them. Now, speaking of advertising, it is time to advertise something. Anything. Can we just advertise something? TrueFire has some special deals going on right now for back to music school. Take off from music school for the summer. Do you? Well, if you do, it's time to go back, and TrueFire is the place you should go. TrueFire, check it out. Link is in the description.
Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Our learning tools and massive library of video lessons will ignite your technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing chops. TrueFire's educators are the best in the biz, from Grammy Award winners to world-renowned artists. You'll have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, fingerstyle, and acoustic guitar educators. Using our desktop and mobile apps, you'll work with TrueFire's multi-angle video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere. Integrated learning tools such as video synced tab and notation, slow-mo, looping, practice jam tracks, and many more handy controls accelerate your learning experience. TrueFire style-specific learning paths guide you every step of the way. Use our assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow our lesson recommendations and track your progress as you work through your personalized TrueFire study plan. Progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, student forums, TrueFire's Riff magazine, premium jam tracks, and much, much more. With thousands of 5-star ratings and reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform. Grab your guitar and ignite your musicality. Sign up free for an all-access trial today.
Yeah, I'm inviting musicality. Okay, musicality, you have been invited. Look at that. GD's coughing on the wrong side. Now, if you cough, he'll get it. Go ahead. One more time. Good. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you under a tornado warning but don't feel like running into the basement? Go to MindDogTV.com and buy your own virtual shelter. Hide here from tornadoes, bill collectors, commitment, and emotional problems. MindDogTV.com.
Wow.
Enjoy the suffering.
I could use one of those. How long have we been selling them for? I don't even know we had a fake basement supplier.
A virtual, not fake.
Fake, yeah.
Not fake, virtual. You can charge more for virtual. You can't charge for fake. You
I have a question.
Sued.
You have a question, Steven.
So, you've seen The Wizard of Oz, right?
What? I'm sorry.
He says, have you seen The Wizard of Oz, right?
He's a willy. You see how he's a willy? He waits. He leaves this gap of silence and wait, and you start talking.
No,
start talking over you.
Where's your old shit hat, sitcom? And actually, you should wear a hat that says "Oh sit."
Go ahead, Willie. Go ahead.
So if you get swept up in the tornado like Dorothy, do you end up in like an alternate universe, or do you end up in like segregated 1950s?
Actually, I wind up in a ghetto.
Oh. So you're safe. Gotcha. Okay.
Basically, the same place you start. You're not,
not far from it. Where I live is a ghetto. If cows and deer and livestock have a ghetto, yeah, sure.
No bear.
They're a bear. Like we're a bear adjacent. I mean, I have neighbors that say they've seen bear.
Matt is bear adjacent.
Yeah, I don't know if they're actual bear or if they're like, what they saw, what they refer to in the gay community as bears. I don't know because I've never seen pictures. They just keep saying we have bears in the neighborhood.
Well, one of the things you missed while you were away, I was approached by a bear. I was selling an amplifier on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy asked me to meet him in a parking lot behind Ace Hardware. And then he was a little bit late, and I went and looked on his Facebook profile. I saw the guy was a big burly dude with a beard, like I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay kind of guy. And he said, "I'll be there in 1 minute." And then a guy pulled up next to me 1 minute later, a big burly guy with a beard, and he got out of his truck. And I said, "Are you Nick?" And he looked at me. He said, "What are you into?" I was like, "I'm into selling
an amplifier."
So
I'm into selling an amp.
So Matt calls me a libertarian and all that, which is fine. He knows it's not true, but it's fine. But he's out here meeting dudes in parking lots off Facebook.
You called yourself a libertarian?
I said I was a libertarian. I don't know where I land anymore because my views are all over the place. That being said, I'm not meeting dudes in parking lots, Mr. Dog.
Well, I wasn't meeting that guy in the parking lot. The real Nick pulled up a minute later and bought the amplifier, which was good.
You had a bear encounter, and it made you nervous, but in different ways. And I get it. It's cool, man.
I just want to be clear. You don't want to be on the program anymore?
It's funny when we were in Alaska. My buddy and I says, we don't have any pictures of us together in Alaska. And I said, "You're right, we don't." He goes, "Maybe we should pose in front of this sign." And the sign said bear crossing. I said, "No, we two guys are not posing in front of this sign in Alaska." I said, "We could find there must be some other sign we can pose in front of." So we never got the pictures of us together in Alaska.
The reason I brought up the bear thing was going back to this RFK thing. You know, he claimed it was hit by a car, a woman in front of him, and he picked it up and threw it in his car. But at the time, if you go back, and these reports are still on YouTube, the local news reports, the bear was stabbed to death. It wasn't hit by a car.
Now that I did not know.
Really?
Yeah.
Stabbed to death?
Could the car have been one of those things like Ben-Hur, where they had the daggers on the side of the wheel?
He is a Kennedy.
But here's the deal: he took a picture. He took a picture of himself posing with the bear, acting like the bear was biting him.
His hand. Yeah, I saw that picture. Yeah.
Now, I do want to throw this out there though. The idea of somebody seeing an animal getting hit and then picking it up and taking it home isn't crazy. Like growing up down south, that was a thing. Like if somebody hit, whether it was a deer, a possum, raccoon, they'd pick it up and take it home for food.
He grew up on Martha's Vineyard.
Now, is it possible? Is it possible that he saw someone hit the bear? The bear was not hurt at all, just dazed, because bears are pretty tough. They encounter a lot of stuff.
A baby bear, not that tough.
Well, okay, a baby bear. Well, maybe it was a Prius. We don't know. Prius don't do a lot of damage to small animals. So maybe the little bear was hit by a Prius, and I can say this because I'm Prius adjacent. My wife owns one. I'm not being a Priusist. Maybe the little bear was hit by a Prius and really wasn't damaged, but just dazed. But Robert Kennedy, having the brain worm, doesn't know the difference between dazed and confused and dead, and thinks he's putting the bear out of his misery, and he stabs it and then takes it home because he thinks he's helping the bear from not suffering.
Hold on, we're gonna. I want to talk more about the bear in just a moment, but we have to bring our guest in. He's been patiently waiting. He's actually showed up.
He's probably used to people running the light.
Yeah, that's true.
He's probably been at more shows where he's going like, is this going to cut into my time? Am I still going to get my 15-minute set?
No, you could talk about whatever the hell you want, but I want to bring him in so that he can engage in the conversation. He's from Brooklyn, so it's because I was actually remiss in saying RFK was brought up on Martha's Vineyard. He was brought up in Manhattan, New York. So let's bring Alvaro Gamboa in. He's a Brooklyn-based comedian, also the host of All Growth podcast. So if you got a growth, I have a growth right on my ass, maybe he can address or look into and see how deep it goes.
You also have a stunted growth, but enough about your penis. Boom, boom.
So I just want to be clear, you don't want to be on the program anymore?
Hickory dickory dock.
Hey, you're making the otter angry. Stop it, GD.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are
you? Everyone's great.
But I have a question about your name automatically. Is the J pronounced as a J or as an H? Because I see you're somewhat Hispanic.
Then it would be Hoax, Alvaro Hoax Gamboa. You see,
that's what I want to know.
That's only if it has an accent over the letters.
I don't hear an accent. You're from Brooklyn? I don't hear an accent.
No, so I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida. Born and raised in the county of Dade. I actually live and based out in Brooklyn now. I've been living in Brooklyn now I've been living in New York now 12 years, in Brooklyn for like a good half of that. So I basically am a Brooklyn native now at this point, right? I'm at least halfway there to being considered as native as the rats here. So
now I'm not.
There you go, man. That's halfway.
I'm not like a great Miami fan of the team or the city, but one of the things I did like about it was that people could grow fruit in their yards, and you didn't have to go to the store to get like mangoes and papaya and oranges. That was
that's right. We would get it from our neighbors, bro. My aunt actually has like 4 trees in her backyard. She has like 2 mango trees, both like 2 different kinds of mango trees.
Wow.
She has an avocado tree, 2 avocado trees, 2 different types of avocado trees, a lime tree, and a moringa tree. Moringa is like low-key slept on. It's a very healing property tree. So it's a lot of wilderness out in Miami. I definitely do appreciate it. Like I remember a bunch of times back in the day during mango season, you would just get buckets and bags of mangoes from whoever didn't want mangoes.
Now, one last question.
We used to go.
One last question before I let you guys in. Now, I bought mango from a street vendor, And I didn't know how to eat a mango back then. And I said, how do you eat a mango? He says, you just bite it like an apple. And I said, you can eat the skin? He goes, oh yeah, you can eat the skin. And this is
if you're a real one, if you're a Caribbean person, definitely eat it with your hands. You peel it like a pear, like an apple. If you're a little pompous with it, have somebody else cut it for you.
Yeah, this guy was from Jamaica, so he was teaching me how to eat it. And he was like, just bite it he says, bite it like an apple. You can actually eat the skin.
Well,
you could too, yeah, it's fiber.
I do the same with like baby bears. I don't even bother like butchering them, man. Fur and all.
Sure, I've seen that.
In Central Park, was that you, my dog?
That was me.
Shh, don't tell anybody though. I used to live right on the border of Florida and Alabama, and we'd go into Florida and we'd pick mangoes and oranges, but we were also a little pompous in that we would also just go over the border to the Welcome Center where they would bottle fresh squeezed orange juice. So we were kind of lazy on some of it, but dude, they have so much beautiful produce out there. So beautiful.
How dare you take advantage of that Florida-Bama border? How dare you take advantage of your privileges?
Yeah, duh.
You know, when I was in Florida, they had a tree at Lowe's that you could buy. It was a citrus tree. And what it is, they have pruned oranges, grapefruit, lemon, you know, the citrus fruits onto one tree. So you can like grow one tree and have all the fruit on it.
That sounds like
that's
a very bad vegan version of a Frankenstein movie. I'll be very
Yeah,
honest.
I think you were picking mushrooms.
Frankenstein.
No, they sold it at Lowe's. They sold them at Lowe's in Florida.
Yeah, right.
That's why Mexicans only shop at Home Depot for that exact reason.
They don't have none of that GMO crap at Home Depot. They don't. They definitely don't.
100% all organic work materials.
This is going to be an easy Friday for me. I'll just let the inmates run the asylum. Yeah.
What's up, Mind Dog?
No, I'm fine with it all. So the All Growth podcast. That's I know a lot of comedians are into mental health awareness, activism, all that kind of stuff. All Growth is kind of different than mental health, though. Yeah, tell me about what the hell you're doing over there.
Yeah, so actually, during the pandemic, when the pandemic started, I was out here in New York. And then once all jobs shut down, like I lost 2 jobs in one day. That's unheard of as a Latino person, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say, you almost lost your union card.
Well, if you want, you can take the black job of his.
Yeah, dude, I was gonna have to end up resorting to meeting up people at Ace Hardware parking lots, dude. It was rough. It was rough. So what ended up happening was that I ended up migrating back to Florida, as you know, winter birds do and COVID birds do. When I migrated back down, I had all of a sudden so much free time. I started the podcast, which ends up happening. I figured out recently that you have to like figure out what to do with your time, right? Because like as a Latino person, idle hands are the devil's maracas. So like what helped me personally was like I turned off the news. I wasn't listening to anything, any opinions on social media. I wasn't listening to any talking heads. I really went within. And like as a Miami person, Florida person living in New York, and a person of color, there's a lot of negativity and there's a lot of like pessimism and cynicalism and nihilism in the community, whether or not we want to address it or not. And so what ended up like really lifting me out of a rut was being a growth-minded person, like having the wherewithal, the cognizance, and just the fortitude and grit to like really like be about this growth mentality and be gung-ho about it. So there's a lot of steps that I took in terms of like my nutrition and what I was consuming. I'm vegan now, have been for 5 years since before the pandemic. So that's like an accomplishment for me. And with the podcast, actually, I was inviting comics and friends and building my own platform, which was really great. I really enjoy like talking about different aspects of growth, like how can you either like self-reflect or become more self-aware, and like how that has helped me in comedy is tremendous.
Wow.
Now, are you a good vegan
awesome.
or are you an annoying vegan?
It depends on who's talking to me. So with my family, I am a non-verbal vegan. They've heard it all. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing a Hot Ones type podcast where you make vegan food and interview people and like, call it like Fresh Ones? or something.
Yeah, that sounds fire.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I actually love hot ones because they actually do like cauliflower wings for like I think Paul Rudd had cauliflower
Yeah, I saw
wings
that.
and
Yeah.
someone else.
Mhm.
Those are like awesome. Hell yeah.
Cauliflower wings. Now, I find that when you,
They're not
because
bad.
we used to have a cauliflower farm not too far from here, and when it gets ripe, it smells like shit. The entire, and I find that if I microwave cauliflower, the entire house starts to smell like shit. So
Are
I
you
don't
sure it's
know.
not your
No.
mustache? Are you
Yeah,
sure
no,
it's not your mustache? Because
no.
I've had that same
Believe me,
experience.
it's not. It's not. It has nothing to do with me. Other people have got the same reaction to the cauliflower getting too ripe. Anyway,
So about your
cauliflower.
Yeah, it
podcast
definitely
now. So I have a question about your podcast. Another question. And I know Matt's super upset because he thought growth meant he could get rid of his micro penis. He's sad now. But
No, the lump on my
have you had
ass.
anyone?
If you want to be, if
Oh,
you want to be technically correct, it's a lump on my ass.
that's fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
again, this is not a medical podcast. This is not
Oh,
medical
gross.
advice. Please seek help from a professional, preferably in I think what do you call those JD?
Parking
GD
lots. We call
a
them
virtual
parking
bunker,
lots.
a virtual shelter?
Yeah.
Well, at my age, when you hear the word growth, you get concerned. You got to check your. You got to need a mammogram and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, check all the
Well,
lumps and mumps, right?
right, yeah, growth. So that's what I'm mostly concerned about.
The one thing
Where
he
was
wishes would get bigger wouldn't, and everything else is. Poor guy.
Yeah. So what were you ever like this like a evangelist vegan where you're trying to force that kind of lifestyle on other people? Because vegans can be like a pain in the ass Jehovah Witness on your friggin' front door.
So, did you like quote the Bible saying like, the Lord says, grow up and henceforth stop eating meat. Lord, like that kind of vegan.
Wait a minute. Wait, I didn't know we were allowed props. Where did GD get a Bible from? He just pulled out a
Oh,
prop
don't ask
Bible
him
from
about his
out of
props.
nowhere.
Trust me, he's got
You
a
know where
shelf
he
full
got
of
it
shit.
from? He just pulled it from the fourth wall. Actually, that's where he pulled it
Yeah.
from.
He's got props up the ass. Don't ask him about them.
Hey,
Too many.
Doctor removed most of them.
Hey, pause it up, my boy. Like,
He lives a fantasy life. He's like Walter Mitty, kind of in
Now-
blackface. Walter Mitty in blackface is what he is.
Alvaro, I saw the look on your face, and I imagine what you pictured. I might have been talking about. He actually has a shelf of dicks, so it's not that far out of your imagination.
Dildos. Dick's
Okay, dildos, whatever.
Dick's makes it sound like I've been
shrine?
like, I've been like amputating people, like I've been doing Lorena Bobbitt stuff. But no, I have a collection of dildos.
You've been castrating people as a pastime? Is that a hobby of yours, GD? What's going on here?
Well, every other month on one Thursday every other month. It's part of the show.
Oh,
it's
man.
part of the show. Part of the comedy
Y'all
show.
are silly, man. That's love, man. I actually like so I am religious. Like I did grow up in the Bible, in the church. I could pull out my Bible right now. But like my family is like so technically it's Baptist, but they are as my grandma is as vengeful as a Jehovah's Witness, I like to say.
Wow.
So like as a person that likes fruits and vegetables, I try not to push that onto anyone. I'm just really focused on living my life and letting the results speak for themselves. I mean, my skin's glistening, I'm 60 pounds lighter, you know what I'm saying? Like life is good, man. Life is good.
Wow.
Does your Bible have googly eyes like mine? Mine has googly eyes.
That's not yours.
No, my
that's the
Bible only
reverend,
talks
dude.
to me. My Bible doesn't talk to anyone else, unfortunately.
That's the shame because you're supposed to spread the word, right? Spread the word. Yes, I'm gonna spread the word all over the place. Yes, Steve. I don't like people that interpret the Bible. I'd rather the Bible speak for itself. That's
Yeah. So like grandma will definitely pull out some Bible verses on me and like, yo, you need to eat chicken, you need to eat beef. It's in the Bible. Jesus was born in the manger. He had pig for breakfast as his first meal. It's like I don't necessarily believe that. Like I don't adhere to that, grandma.
I
There's
just
no
want to point
babies
out
eating bacon for breakfast, Grandma. Stop
if
it.
the Bible
Yeah,
was speaking for itself, it would not need your hands to be in the picture at all. I'll just put the Bible up and walk out of the room and let it speak for itself.
Yeah, that's the Holy Spirit talking right there.
That's right. Well, that's what we want. We want to see some magic.
HOLLY.
All right.
I just have a question about your grandmother though. She actually says Jesus and not Jesus.
No, my grandmother's dead. Why are you bringing her
Not
up?
yours. I'm talking to Hoax.
Condolences. So my grandma's Nicaraguan. I'm half Colombian, half Nicaraguan. And before we continue, I'll just handle the stereotypes up front. Yes, I'm good with kids. All right. I host a master class every time I babysit. All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
I didn't know that was a stereotype. I'm learning new stuff. Where were
I
you
did not. I
yesterday?
didn't
Where
know
were
about
you
that.
yesterday when we were doing the racist show?
Yeah. I did not know anything about that stereotype. I've never heard that before, and I'm confused where it comes from.
Yeah,
You never
and
had a brown
what do
paper.
you
You
mean
never
good
had a
with
brown
kids?
person babysit you before, or babysit your kids before.
No,
Yeah,
we
my
basically didn't let brown
know,
people on Long Island at all. We basically stopped them.
Oh, so you're one of those
you know,
Mormons.
it's
Okay, I know who
true.
you are now. I got
Yeah,
you.
It's true.
they
My
had to
wife is
stop
Puerto
them
Rican, and
from
she
Queens.
is a master with kids. She is amazing with kids.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
All the neighborhood parents,
Epa!
all the
No, does it
neighborhood
offend you at all?
parents come to my
Shut up,
wife for
Willie.
advice.
Shut up, Willie. Does it
Oh,
offend you at all that this guy has
oh, bitch.
appropriated Latino culture? He's a white guy, Klan guy, libertarian shitcom up here.
Oh my
I gotta
God.
leave. I gotta go.
He calls himself
I've had something to
Ortiz.
do, guys.
He's trying to be like a Latino, but he's not. He's a white Klan guy
Hold
from
on.
Alabama.
For the
Wait, is that an
record,
Ortiz? That's an Ortiz there. Wait a minute, what's going on here? What kind of
He's
hoodoo are we
lying.
doing here?
He's lying. He's trying to.
I colonialized my wife's last name. But in my defense, I'm first generation non-clan member. So I wanted to I'm named after my dad and grandfather, right? So when you used to Google my name, along with like comedy stuff, you'd get like Steve Tillman arrested for KKK, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, well, that's
Clan
not cool
stuff?
for me. Yeah. So I was like, well, so when I got married to my wife, I was like, hey, we're just like, I'm just gonna take your last name. It's gonna be easier. She goes, sure, let's do that. So yeah, so I strictly did it for like as much separation as possible.
It's a cover story. The truth is, he's a pedophile. He wants people to think he's good with children.
Ted Cruz. Okay, I see you, Matt Gates. I know what it is now. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So how long you been doing comedy?
Hey, that's not true. When Chris Hansen came over for pizza, it was strictly to watch movies. That was it. Okay.
Really?
No, he told you to take a seat. Ah, man.
Our senior comedic
he didn't tell me to
correspondent
take a seat.
has
I'm already sitting.
Willie, behave yourself. Our senior comedic correspondent had a question on the table about real comedy, and we wanted to talk about that. And you just want to bull in a china closet.
Riff away.
Go ahead,
I just wanna know how long you been doing comedy, and are you bilingual? And are you bilingual with your comedy?
About 9:20. About 9:20.
Yeah, so I've actually been in New York 12 years. So I've been doing comedy 10 years this year. 10 years this year in October. And on the bilingual tip, I actually would love to investigate like doing like Spanish comedy, for para mi gente. So I want to like investigate that further and like see how to go about that. I feel like that would definitely open the markets up. You know what I'm saying? Like I do speak Spanish regularly, and Spanish was my native language. But like doing comedy in Spanish requires a lot of linguistic gymnastics that I'm not ready to do right now. I'd probably get a bronze in that, not the gold.
Well, see, down here in Maryland, there's like very little true Hispanic comedic talent. I mean, we get a lot of wannabes, but at least they're not funny in English, and I don't speak enough Spanish to know. So occasionally you'll see an all Spanish show, and the whole show is in Spanish. And because we do have pockets of Latino communities in the Maryland area, especially close to DC, so you'll see the occasional all Latino show, and it's in all Spanish. And so
like
I didn't
a theme
know.
Show, right?
Yeah. And they have like those maybe 3 times a year, I think. I think it could have it more, but I guess you have to be willing to put out a little bit of money or invest some time. And as we know, Hispanics are not known for being productive, right? Oh, that's a different stereotype. That's black people.
We're not known for shelling out money.
Yeah, that's it.
We don't have those shekels to just lay out all willy nilly.
Wow.
But to that point, I actually went to so being in Miami. Whenever I go, I try to do comedy there. I went to an all Spanish show. It was great. It was amazing. I understood most of it. and that's part of like what has me like nervous and anxious to like do comedy Spanish like full time or like do a Type 5 in Spanish. I feel like it's one of those things you just got to grab the bull by the horns and go after it. So I definitely do appreciate that aspect of it. And then like on the topic of like theme shows, I feel like that is more prevalent everywhere but New York. You know, New York has its own specific culture, and every time I venture out to a different scene, I always like come across like showcases where like the comedy show is an open mic right after, or the mic happens before the show kind of thing, like a Chopin mic kind of thing. And then also the theme shows as well, where it's like today's like queer night, today's like ladies night, today's like brown people night, today's like brown people night, you know. And so like
You ever get queer
being
brown
around
people,
that
queer
what?
brown people night? Queer brown people night.
Yeah,
we get a-
exactly. And then it just
Can we get a
stacks and
cripple
layers
people
on top
night?
of each other. Yeah, then you have Teletubby night, and it's like, whoa, this is too many shows, guys.
That's
There's too many
interesting.
shows.
Is there ever like a guy who looks like Hitler night?
No, but there are a lot of guys that sound like Hitler. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no. Where
I believe that.
Yeah. I have I have a video I'm going to be working on. It's Trump's latest speech, but I'm putting Hitler's dialogue over it and basically comparing.
Actually,
Are you putting his gestures in it too? Are you putting the gestures in it too? Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah. And the little bit of a mustache.
Put the mustache on Trump during the speech.
Yeah. Thank you very much for telling me how to run my business.
I didn't know it was a business. I thought it was a hobby. I would never tell someone how to run a business. I'm a hobby. Right. I tell people how to run hobbies.
All right. How do I run my hobby? My hobby is never mind. So
his hobby is running into people in parking lots.
Yeah. This is actually the end of Steven's career here today. So let's wish him.
Thank God. It used to be me who was getting fired every day.
Yeah, no, every few minutes.
I am so glad for the new diversity hire.
No way. Steven, one brown guy comes in and another one gets replaced. You are Latin. Look at that.
I know, man. Actually, if you're taking my job, that would make me black. Is what that would be.
That's true.
Because Trump said the Hispanics are taking the black job. So if that's the case, dope. Let's go.
Yeah.
And AI is taking all the jobs.
Let me come back to a point I wanted to make earlier. I wanted to make this point earlier, but GD with his stupid car story. The car could have killed the bear, but I think he was stabbed. The report said the bear was stabbed. But the worst part of this is he tried to frame an innocent bicyclist for running over the bear. Right? And that is the most despicable.
With his own fingerprints on the bike.
No fingerprints, bro. You know how fast you have to be riding in a bicycle to do that kind of damage to a bear cub, bro?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't thinking clearly, but I mean,
I know. I know GD isn't a pre-assist. I know GD isn't a pre-assist, but he is a size queen apparently. From what he was saying earlier. Like you have to have a lot of velocity in whatever vehicle you're driving to fuck up a bear, right?
Yeah. But we had a guy, a bicyclist on who said, and this is a guy who's ridden across countries on bicycle, and he said the fastest he's ever done was, what did he say, 35 miles an hour going downhill?
Oh, then he's a wimp. Because I hit 60. I hit 60 on a track.
You believe that?
No.
He talks. I think he lives in again Walter Mitty land.
What would make this RFK story perfectly an RFK story is that here comes a video of him shanking this bear 12 times.
Right.
From someone's security camera. Because every time he lies, they're like, roll the tape.
Yesterday, he came out and confessed to having a freezer full of roadkill. Now, as a vegan, that probably got to disgust you. I mean, but as Steven pointed out,
there could be vegetarian. He could be road killing sunflowers. It could be like dandelions.
A box could have fallen off a grocery.
There are lots of plants. There are lots of plants that you can run over if you try.
Yeah,
but he was going to eat a baby bear, and he had a picture of what they say was a goat. What he says was a goat, but people were claiming was a dog. And he said on Roseanne, "I'll eat any animal not except a human.
Now that dog was probably
Yeah.
the greatest dog of all time. So yeah, it was probably a goat. That
Most
dog.
Truly man's
most
best friend.
animals taste okay, and usually the younger versions of those animals, the meat is better and sweeter. That's why lamb is better than sheep. That's why
And veal.
younger deer is better than full grown deer. And I'm sure
and veal
baby
is
bear
expensive.
tastes better than full grown bear. It's just because
Varo,
what they eat.
a vegan, does this turn your stomach? This talk of roadkill and
I gotta be honest with you. As a Floridian, a lot of people would probably agree, Steven, a young gator is more delicious than a full-grown gator. So yeah, that is a thing.
They're also easier to catch and kill.
Oh, 100%.
well, which one is which one is easier to have sex with? Is
There's a guy in Florida had sex with a 12-foot gator, and his name was Rupert Darwin.
I guess it would depend on how well you're endowed.
I featured him
So
in my
for Matt,
first 90
probably a
minute
younger
special.
gator for sure.
I did a bit on
I
that.
don't know
in my
what's
first
more
90 minute special.
concerning. Actually, I'm really trying to like battle with what's more concerning: the fact that GD knows that fact, or the fact that there was a man that had sex with a gator. Like, which one is more concerning for y'all?
Or
Well,
You had that committed to memory.
I don't like to usually do this, but I did the whole routine in my first 90-minute special called "My Parents Meant Well," and it's pretty good. It's decent. It's decent material. It's got the only nigger joke that I do in it. I can say that because I said that in a good way.
You still have an hour before you're allowed to use that word.
Have gloves.
Hey, no N-word before 10 a.m., man. What's going on here, dude?
No, it's before 10:45. Before 10:45. After that, it's fair game.
Barbershop rules here. I didn't even know we were operating on barbershop rules.
Well, his parents meant well.
Yeah, my parents meant well. You're saying it wrong. It's my parents meant well.
Well.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, back to your comedy career now. Brooklyn, lots of places to perform in Brooklyn, but they're not necessarily comedy clubs. They're bars with basements that have room available to do a comedy show in, and they don't necessarily advertise as comedy clubs. They kind of you'd have to go in to find out there's a comedy club there. It's a different kind of experience than what most people are used to in the comedy world. Shed some light on that. Like, what's the idea behind not letting people know there's comedy shows there?
A lot of it is rent. A lot of it is straight up just the faculties that the comedy clubs do not pay well. Like, do not get into comedy thinking you're going to get paid. That is a fool's errand right there. So a lot of clubs, a lot of shows happen like ambush style or dive style, or in dive bars and in the cut, or like as soon as like the coffee work rush is over, a lot of cafes turn into mic spots and shows and things of that nature. There used to be like a laundromat mic and show that would operate, like a lot of like weird, quirky, kinky stuff. You know, like I have a bucket list of places that I want to perform in, just to say I perform in them. Like about a month ago, I did a show in a furniture store. It was legit a furniture store. They converted all of the floor space that used to have like mattresses, and they had the couches that they were intending on selling for future purposes, with people sitting on them as like the crowd and the audience. So that was fun. In terms of comedy here in Brooklyn, it is like it is like clicked up, I guess you could say. Like all of comedy is clicked up, right? So you'll have like your Williamsburg crowd, which is like the yuppie hippie crowd. You'll have the let me be politically correct here, GD. You'll have your urban market. You'll have your urban market in some neighborhoods of Brooklyn here and there. So I try to like visit everywhere. I try to go where I can, wherever my wallet can afford to go. Because it is a lot of times with mics, it is like $5, 5 minutes, or like, $2-3 plus get a drink. There are some mics here that are charged in New York that charging like 15, 20 minutes, $20, like 15 to $20 to do 5 minutes, 7 minutes, So all of that is like, it really is a grind. It really keeps me focused in a sense of like what am I getting out of this? Like, what +1 can I get out of this today? Whether it's like a new tag to an existing joke, or a new joke entirely, or a new comedy friend, or like someone that thinks I'm funny. and shouted me out, and it's like, okay, can I get on your show now, kind of thing. And that's kind of been the obstacle for me now. Is like, okay, like let's get on shows, let's get tapes, let's get these clips going, all of that fun
Yeah.
stuff.
I really frown upon people who charge people for stage time or do bringer shows. It's just because in my business, there's no way somebody has told me I'd have to pay to go perform someplace. Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah, and I've done that.
um,
The bringer shows, I've done all of that, bro. Like I've burned so many friends' bridges by asking friends to come check out my show where like I want to get a tape out. And what are you asking them in reality? You're asking them to pay a $10, $15, $20, $25 cover charge with a true drink minimum. We're talking about $50, $75, $100 for a party of two, for a show, for like an hour and a half show. So at some point it does feel like extortion, exploitation. And the Barker shows, don't even get me started, man. Like being in Times Square or being in the city and just like grinding it out for 2, 3, 4 hours and a bunch of no's just to like sell 1, 2, 3 tickets, and you're not getting on stage if you don't sell a minimum of 5, 6, 10, So it's like, dang. It really is.
A lot of big time comedians started that way, doing the Barker shows in Manhattan. Though I don't want to name them because they probably don't like to remember.
They don't want to be named.
Yeah, see, that's the Barker show thing. Those and bringer shows are two shows that I've had to start turning down because I'm getting invited to cities where I don't know anybody. It's my first time to this city, and they want me to go out and sell tickets, expect me to have.
Yeah, I see somebody in a wheelchair yelling at people or even talking to people. I'm thinking, this guy's asking me for money. Get away.
Hey, I've done it. Like I've done it in Fort Wayne and it's worked. But in other cities, it doesn't make sense. If you're not a name that already has some recognition out there, going out and talking to people and barking on the corner is going to do nothing.
No, in New York. In New York, your chair would be in the middle of the sidewalk, and people would be partying, or like it's the Red Sea, walking around.
Yeah.
You. Like,
oh yeah.
Geez,
no, don't get me wrong. I can draw
around you.
I can draw a crowd in public if need be. The thing is like outside of a big city like that where you're going to have exposure to 10,000 people in an hour. You're not going to have that, in most cities either. So outside of some situation like that, it's pointless.
You get a bus, you go to one of the border towns. Okay. And when the people get across the border, you tell them this bus is going to New York. All right. And you just collect enough money to cover the ticket. You say, this bus is going to New York, and you get $10. And then once you get to New York, you let them out at the comedy club. So you have like 40, 50, 60 people getting off the bus to go to a comedy club, and they'll have like food. It's a little expensive, but then you have like the kick-ass bringer of bringers. Okay.
Yo, GD, are you suggesting the Governor Abbott plan? Is that what we're doing here? Are you talking about human trafficking?
I was thinking of the DeSantis plan, which is similar to the Abbott plan, but the Abbott plan, well, actually, because Steven is in a wheelchair, he probably should use the Abbott plan. But
we got to come up with a comedy act, Abbott and DeSantis, and it'll be like. Who's shipping out first?
And their punchline would be like, "Hey, racist!" No.
Who's an even bigger pile of garbage, right?
Yeah, I had a national headline.
First is like, who's from what country?
Yeah,
I just want a cameo in
headliner come in, Willie.
Stop calling me that, you jerk.
I will tip your
geek.
chair over. I will tip your chair over if you do that to me one more time. I had a national
Roseanne, I apologize.
Headliner come in, and basically I went to the church, the food shelter, and basically bought 20 tickets. I only gave 12 away, but then hired the church bus driver to take them to a comedy club in Brooklyn. And he got lost. So I bought 20 tickets, and basically there was nobody in the crowd, but there were 12 people circling around Brooklyn looking for the club the entire show. Yeah. homeless
Which is
people.
a better waste of their time than being at a show, right?
Oh, they loved it. They loved it. They got to see Brooklyn because I'm way out on Long Island. So for these people, if you're homeless out here, basically you're like sleeping on a farm somewhere in a ditch on the farm. So they've never seen buildings before and smelled the aroma
Smell
of
the roses.
yes.
Geez, who are they? The Amish now? Like, is that who we're relegating to?
Kind of like Amish with brain damage.
Now, I was in Seattle last week, and Seattle reminded me of New York without the piss smell. I mean, it was like Seattle was like New York light. If you just got rid of the piss smell, it was New York. I swear, I felt so New Yorkish when I was.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We have a rat SAR now. We have a SAR for the rodents, and they are doing a good job supposedly. So we're removing the piss smell 1 decade at a time. All right, GD, you can come by anytime and check out our air quality.
Rats are.
But on the other hand, there's a new restaurant opening up on Fifth Avenue that sells nothing but rat
delicacies.
No, they're all in RFK's freezer.
Fresh brainworms? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I think the piss smell is being kind of balanced out by the weed smell in New York now. Manhattan, anyway. I don't know about Brooklyn, but in Manhattan, I think the weed smell is overwhelming the piss smell. So
that's the only reason why they legalized weed, so they could just have the two battling aromas.
Right, yeah.
Especially with the humidity, that just makes things ferment.
Allow me to go full racist for the moment, for just a one moment, or maybe two or three moments, maybe for the next hour or so. One of your influences that you have listed here is George Lopez, and my problem, and this is full racist. I think most of the Latino comedians I see yell at me. They yell jokes. It's a cultural thing. I gotta get loud. Are you of that brand of Latino comedian?
No, of course not. He's a vegan. He doesn't have the strength to get that loud.
What did you do?
I say, of course not. You're a vegan. You don't have the strength to get that loud.
I gotta get on my soapbox. I need my supplements. I need my B12 to be able to shriek and scream. That's definitely it. But in terms of my comedy style, I try to be like cool, calm, and collected. Because I find that if you start yelling in Spanish, you are scaring the gentrifiers. You do scare the Brooklyn whites.
Yeah. And you know what? You're going to cut out a new niche for yourself because that stereotype, that is white people, even whatever color I am, people definitely have that in their mind. Paul Rodriguez, George Lopez, even Freddie Prinze in his day was loud, and it scares the fuck out of white people.
I'll be honest. I think that style of comedy comes from the fact that they didn't have Latino comedy clubs, and they did their comedy from the porch. Just yelling at their neighbors.
It could be,
and that's how the style developed. And then once they got their own Latino comedy clubs, the style stuck.
Yeah. No, good. That's
I don't know what's more racist, being called a porch comic or being called a porch comic by GD.
Probably the latter.
Yeah. Well,
it would be better if I called you a stoop comedian.
Oh yeah, with my little Jane, just like, hey, you guys want to hear some jokes as people walk by? But yeah, in terms of like comedy stylings, like George Lopez was an inspiration for me. Like the first comics I ever saw were Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, George Lopez, George Carlin, and Dave Chappelle, like in that order. And ever since then, that's been like my top 5 cemented. But for me, like as of late, like specifically George Lopez, I'm becoming less and less of a fan because of the fact that like he's not supportive of the younger up and coming comics with the Ralph Barboza situation and just having his openers and features not do any Latin material, any Latin crowd work. It doesn't feel like a each one reach one teach one kind of thing within the community, within Latino comic culture as a whole. So I do try to be somewhat informative, educative, but also, it's comedy. Rule number 1, is it funny? Rule number 2, there are no rules. So after that, can you be silly, funny, informative, educative, and not come off as like a know-it-all on your soapbox. I don't want to be like compared to like a Latin John Oliver kind of thing, but in terms of like in terms of like Latin comedy, it really is dependent on like the crowd itself, because like that yelling style, I feel like comes from the Def Comedy Jams, the original Kings of Comedy, the Latin Kings of Comedy, the Queens of Comedy, where like that's kind of like an urban style, right? I feel like Latino and Black people don't give you more than 7-10 seconds. Like if you're not hitting it, and if you're not commanding that confident stage presence, like it's over for you. You're clipped. Like I've lived an entire lifetime watching Sábado Gigante and seeing people actually being escorted off by a broom, getting swept off the stage, does terrible things for your confidence.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Unless that is your plan to get swept off the stage, because some people literally just plan to bomb. They don't.
Bro, if I go to the Apollo and they bring out a broom, I will burn the building down. All right.
Speaking of planning the bomb, tonight in New York City in Madison Square Garden, and tomorrow night, Kill Tony is there. And I was thinking, because tonight my gig might get canceled, and if it does get canceled, I was thinking about going into Manhattan, trying to get on, compete with Willie out in the crowd there, to get called up on stage without a comedy act, and never haven't done comedy in 35 years on a stage. And I would go up there and do Jackie's act. I actually texted Jackie last night but he was on a gig. But I was going to ask, give me a minute of your best material. I'm going to try and get on Kill Tony tomorrow and plan on bombing really bad. Just going out there and doing Jackie.
Don't you have his book? Don't you have his book? The joke man. Don't you have one of his books?
Yeah, I do, and I've seen his act plenty of times. But I want to know from him what I should do in 1 minute on 1 minute.
That sounds like a formula for success,
right?
Matt, that would absolutely destroy Willie if
I know.
you just showed up, got pulled, went up on stage, did decent, and then they're like, "Hey, you know what? I got a show later on in Manhattan. I'd like to have you open for me." Oh my God, that would be I already feel bad for him, and it hasn't even happened yet. That's awesome.
All right.
I will know. Definitely, the plan is to definitely sign up to Kill Tony today and tomorrow. I'm hoping I get on. I'm gonna go there with my buddies, so like I'm hoping we get on. I heard that the process, like the sign-in process, starts at it was on his Instagram, the Kill Tony
now.
page.
It starts now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4:00 to 5:30. But from what I'm hearing, people are lining up already. Like people are like not camped out overnight. I mean, I hope not. God, I hope not.
No, somebody came from Grants, New Mexico, and slept in the airport for the last 3 days, and now he's out in front of.
I actually saw on Instagram there are people who camped out.
Yeah. Now, do you know if because in Austin they send you to a bar across the street. In the Garden, I don't know how they're going to do. They can't call your name and then go run down the block or something. I'm just wondering how.
Supposedly it's in the C wing of the theater itself, or like Madison Square Garden Theater. And I've never been, so like the theater supposedly has like a backstage green room kind of thing. So that's probably they'll corral probably 10,000 comedians in the back to wait out.
Yeah,
I know when they did LA, when they did the arenas out there, the bucket area was in the arena, just off to the side where you like couldn't really exactly watch the show. Because obviously if you don't have a ticket, you're not supposed to be in there, just like at the real Kill Tony. But it was in the stands, but off to the side and kind of to the back. So like still in camera shot.
Pay to get in, right? Yeah. If you're gonna sign up on the list, you have to buy a ticket, right?
No, it's free.
No, it's if you get in the bucket list, it's free. But that's why they put you in those shitty seats, because you can't watch the show from there. You're looking at just the back of the stage. You can hear it, but you can't see it. So, and then if they pull your name, because when they were pulling names in LA, you could see them jumping up to the side and then running down and around. So, I imagine it's going to be
basically, I
similar
have to
setting.
change my thing till tomorrow night because there's no way I'm going to know in time to get in there to sign up between 4 and 5 or whatever the time is. So, but you're right. I mean, that was my plan, just to like fucking make Willie go, I can't believe I'm fucking traveling all over the fucking country and this asshole gets called up.
Hater. You're a hater.
That would be a dream come true.
You're a hater.
I'm a sadist, is what I am. You're a sadist.
Well, God bless you all who were trying to get on Kill Tony, and may all your dreams come true. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I've been doing my runs this week, trying to get that minute down. I already let the family know. I got a bunch of santeros doing some santeria already for me. So like, we got it, bro. Fingers crossed.
It's not going live, right? They're gonna tape it and then put it out Monday like they always do. Is that how they
Nope.
They're
Streaming at
3 or
6:30.
6 weeks.
They said stream starts at 6:30. They're live streaming.
Wow.
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's tonight?
Yeah, tonight and tomorrow.
And tomorrow
Oh
night.
shit! Imagine that, because that means it's going to be uncensored and everything.
Yeah, I think it's like $25 for both nights, which is a steal in this market.
Yeah.
But you can still have a delay. It doesn't, even though it's live, you can have like a 30-second delay.
Oh, I'm sure it'll have a delay because the last couple arenas they did, like Ari Shafir showed up completely bottomless. Yeah, they've had some nudity on there.
Do you know who's on the panel? Do we know who's on that panel?
They usually don't announce it until on the spot because they want it to be surprise.
Well, if they expect me to be on the panel, they need to let me know because I'm in Maryland. It's going to take me a minute to get up there.
You could end up blowing your way and landing on Joe Rogan or Tony Hinchcliffe.
How many people have blown their way onto Rogan and those shows? I'm not that guy.
Rogan's
GD,
not
if you look at Matt right now with his T-shirt on, does he not look like Joe Rogan with the Groucho Marx mask on right now? A little bit.
I don't know that Rogan would ever wear another comedian's shirt, but other than that,
Matthew looks like Joe Rogan's strength coach uncle. That's
Steven is basically saying, "Please come to Indiana and beat the living shit out of me." That's what he's saying. If you read between the lines, you got to read between the lines, and I'm good at reading between the lines. I'm also good at snorting between the lines. But
so you're gonna go full Chavola on me, huh? Is that what you're gonna do?
Just
read between the lines, Steven.
Just for the record, we kind of blew past the news.
I know we missed the news, and I'm enjoying being racist with our new friend here. So and it made me.
I know. I'm gonna have to add him on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Well, this is what I wanted to ask you. Where are we sending people to learn more about you? Is there your Instagram page? Because what I have is local Hotel 22, Huddle 22. Is that you? No.
Feel free to follow me on all the socials at Alvaro Jokes Gamboa on all the socials. Alvaro Jokes Gamboa, and then the podcast is All Growth Podcast, All Growth Pod on all the socials and wherever you're on all major streaming platforms, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Actually, Matthew, I was going to say earlier when you were talking about the subscription services, I'm fed up too, brother, man. Like, I am so over it, man. Like, the life is a subscription service now at this point with the Adobe Premieres and the Canvas and this subscription and that. Like, I am subscriptioned out, brother, man. Like, I'm so subscriptioned out. What actually ended up happening with like my equipment is like I had an old system, right? This is comedy. We're gonna make it do what it do. And so like I recorded a bunch of like episodes with my comic friends. We're talking about like 5-6 episodes, and like in the middle of editing one of them, like my whole system just crashed. Like Adobe Premiere, it would not work, and my files backed up, and it was like, yo, like why isn't my whole system cooperating with me right now? And so like my Adobe Premiere crashed. I ended up like not being able to put out that content. And so like I have like 12 episodes from years ago that I haven't been able to put out. Do I consider that dead content, or should I still put that out?
I would still put it up, definitely.
Yeah, put it out.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, here's I got a deal for you. Close your ears, Matt. You may not want to hear this. I
Oh
have a
no, I
show
don't
I
want to.
do
I
called
don't want to hear.
One Way Past Funny, and I interview comedians and people in the comedy business, and we actually will show like 9 minutes of their old stuff, so we can discuss how much they've grown since then.
You know,
So,
doing this with headphones on does not block it from hearing. It actually makes it
really?
louder.
You
Yeah.
could also
earmuffs.
That actually
you
makes
also use those old episodes for any time you need to take time off. You could use those as like, hey, unburied from the archives.
People are upset with people like the big time comedic podcasters because they just found out that they're like storing up episodes, backlogging episodes to take time off, and I guess the fans just found out about it. It's fucking weird. Like,
they're just finding out. That is so weird.
They're wearing the same shirt every time. Figure it out, man.
Right. That's like standard operating procedure. I feel like to backlog a couple just so you have some time for yourself. Like I feel like it's not doable if it's like live every day, fresh. Like streaming, I appreciate being on the show and this. Thank you for this opportunity because like streaming is the wave on all the platforms nowadays. Because you can just clip this up and call it a day. But like an actual like show and program, like there's nothing like that out there. It's I do appreciate the fact that you're able to build your own platform, but that is the case. Like you have to build your own platform and give people a reason to come check you out and all that. And it is like bothersome and cumbersome because like in this clip culture that we have, like it's never like no fan is ever like it's sitting in appreciation of like, wow, that was a great show. Wow, that was a great clip. What do they always say? Nah, I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for the next show. I need the next clip. Give it to me now. I'm a fiend. I need it.
Yeah. Well, I want to bring this up before we say goodbye to you. We do have another guest coming in, but there is an Alvaro Gamboa in Brooklyn who is not you, who's also a comedian. Well, I'm certain like Alvaro Gamboa might not be like a real rare name among Latinos, but in New York City, it's not exactly like Pedro Martinez. I mean, like, or Joe Smith would be for white guys, but and comedians. So I was looking at him like it doesn't look like the same guy, but they all look alike to me. But so you have a competing Alvaro Gamboa, no J in the middle, no jokes in the middle, but he's a comedian in Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
I would be remiss to say if I didn't say I would want to meet him because I think you're talking about me. Like I am a junior, so I do know a lot of Alvaros. My grandfather is Alvaro Gamboa, my dad and me. So like I'm a junior technically, but a third almost. But I've never met like an Alvaro comedian.
Yeah.
Does your dad live in California?
You said what?
Does your dad live in California?
No, my family's based in Florida.
Okay.
Florida.
There's an Alvaro Gamboa Senior that popped up on Facebook.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
From Cali?
But in the same town doing the same thing is a little, I would go to him and say, listen, either get out of comedy or change your name.
Yeah. We got your back.
I got here first. It's my turn.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having my back, GD. I appreciate that.
Yeah, oh yeah. I am a real brave person from afar.
From afar.
Yeah, long distance combat. None of that hand to hand.
Yeah. Oh no, hand to hand. I'm a sissy.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
it was great meeting you, man.
Yeah. Now, do you have anything coming up you want to let people know about?
I got Kill Tony going on tonight, and then outside of that, just my podcast episodes. Catch me on All Growth Pod.
All right, we'll check you out with that. Now, I'm gonna hope my gig gets rained out tonight, so I can actually tune in to Kill Tony. I'm not a big Kill Tony fan, but knowing that you're gonna be there and knowing somebody else who is desperately trying to get on there, I think it's worth checking out tonight. So.
I'm not going to watch it, but if you do make it, let me know, and then I'll watch it on the back end or something. I'll catch it or something. But
do me a favor. Do me a favor. Send me a link. Email me or put in the notes on the original Calendly that all your socials and all that stuff, I'll put it in the description because I wasn't sure. I think I have that other Alvaro's guys stuff in the description, which is
I was
not.
wondering why you didn't put it up there, because usually you put it up. It's a crawl at the bottom. You didn't want to give the other guy the
Right.
Yeah.
I waited too long to ask about this, but yeah,
Hey,
because he don't look like him, except for the brown skin. He doesn't look like him at all.
I followed you on Instagram, so if you actually get into Madison Square Garden tonight, let me know, and I will pay to watch tonight and see if you get on there. So
it's a pay.
Thank you, bro. I'll be sure to block you as soon as I can. All right.
I mean, I don't send unsolicited nudes generally for the first 72 hours. So after the Kill Tony thing, if you'd like to, you can.
Nudes. Do you send solicited nudes
to men only? Yes.
All right, and I will be behind Ace Hardware in case you're interested.
Hey,
listen.
GD could probably sell us a NFT bunker, right? We could probably get into a virtual shelter at this point.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm working on that right now. I just
hey, boys, we're not in Kansas anymore.
The only reason I only send them to men is because I'm dedicated to my wife. Same reason I don't watch any porn with women in it. I'm super dedicated to my wife. So,
all right, Willie, are you done?
Sexual discipline.
Are you done,
exactly.
I'm sorry to let you go because we've enjoyed this talk. Please do come back, but we need to move on. Our next guest is here.
Thank you for the time,
have a great day. Good luck tonight. We'll follow you. Definitely.
Yeah, I just followed you on Instagram.
Cool.
Thank you, GD. Thank you, Steven. Thank you for the time, Matthew. I feel like I'm taking a victory lap now.
Good luck tonight, man. We'll see you. We'll see you. We'll be rooting for you. All right. Bye for now. I cut him off right in the middle of a word. That's what I always do.
Way to go, Joe.
All right. Deborah Cohen is here now. Deborah Cohen has got a unusual backstory. She was a rock star or a rock star in the making. I had opened up for people like Joan Jett in the past, and then she moved to Nashville and was playing with the band. And now she is the author of a book called Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. She's here now. Let's open our ears and open our minds and say hello to Deborah Cohen, music, books, and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you for having me. I'm still working on my first cup of coffee here, so you guys already sound charged.
How's your Lyme disease coming along?
I was healed from Lyme at a praise meeting in Euless, Texas, right before I met my husband.
How's your lemon disease coming along?
Oh, I love lemons. There's no disease there. You know, I'm in the sunny state of Florida. Yeah. We love lemons, yes. Not a car, though. We don't like car lemons. Yeah.
What part of Florida?
Well, for the sake of security reasons, because since I published the book, there's been all kinds of hate mail and stuff. So I'll say Tampa Bay.
Okay. Now, the reason I'm asking is because have you been in a Lowe's store and have you seen these citrus trees? The ones that it's one tree, but it has like lemons, oranges, grapefruit.
I was hoping that I was hoping we'd move past that delusion.
The perverted tree. Well, you know, I'll just say my husband and I have been here 8 months, so we haven't had that pleasure yet.
Yeah, because you never will, because it only lives between his ears.
Oh, really? I thought that was Cousin It.
So, Deborah, is Music Books Merch your maiden name, or
it could be if you want it to be?
Don't mind him. Okay. Don't mind him. He's already been fired. We're just letting him finish.
Bring it on. Bring it on. I'm from Boston. I'm used to all kinds of stuff coming my way in the shovel.
All right. So you spent your youth in rock and roll bands.
Yes, I did.
And now, how do you go from there to taking on a subject like the Middle East conflict and all the hate mail that it will generate?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. That's a lot of time now. Y'all know I'm a senior citizen. So I've done some living. And actually, it was a drug overdose that turned me off of the rock scene. I almost died from an overdose. I was taking, you name it, LSD, microdot, angel dust. And so cocaine was my favorite. Dom Perignon I loved. And anyway, it was free, like when you start developing notoriety, I always had lines in front of me. I never had to buy one. And I just took something that was laced with something, apparently rat poison or something like that. And I started really going down and freaking out. You want to talk about panic attack to the 10th degree. So I didn't really have a relationship with God at that time. I was a Jewish soul born into a Catholic family. So I was very pre-Vatican II, holy, holy, holy with the rosary beads and all that. But I didn't really know God. I knew about him. But that when I was dying, I raised my voice and begged the God I didn't know, if you let me live, I will serve you. I'm like, what? I said that? Whoa. When you're dying, you'll say things and maybe you won't really mean them, but you hope it'll happen. So it did. I lived and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to pursue God. It changed my heart. I just started on a spiritual journey. I mean, I was a very physical rock chick and all the trappings that go with it. I was a party animal. But the OD did it for me. And so I went to Israel in 99 and started looking seriously for God. And that's when I found out that JC was a Jew. I'm like, what? I never heard that before. What?
Really? That's his claim to fame. I mean, that's
King of the Jews.
No, I know, but I know you all know that because you have some brain. No, I shouldn't say that. You all know that because you haven't been indoctrinated by Christianity, which I've been into. I've written Christian music, but it never clicked because we were brainwashed as Christians and told that Jesus came to fulfill the law. Therefore, we're no longer under it, which the law.
We did that too. And, I wrote Christian music and I still you read his resume, it's still like the first line in his resume.
Well, you know what? You probably went to a different denomination than I did, and we know there's a whole bunch of them.
I was never much into any religion, but I knew that
Jesus knew cocaine.
No, there were lots of movies on Easter Sunday, and you couldn't escape. You tried to be watching a ball game, and they'd come on with King of Kings or whatever.
Yeah, I know for sure. It's like, why would Mel Gibson want to kill the Jews if he's king of the Jews?
Right. Yeah. Wow. Are you picking sides in that conflict?
No, there's no sides. I'm a hippie chick from the 60s, y'all. So we believe in I am everyday people. There is a blue one that doesn't like the red one that doesn't like, get over it, people. You know what I'm saying? We're all people.
Yes. Sly gets his family stoned.
Yeah, we're all human beings. Get over the division and the label calling and all that crap that causes dissension.
Right. I don't think that war is going to be because they talk about ceasefires and all that stuff. I'm not. I think we're as the human race, we are destined to be at war with each other forever and ever.
I think we can get rid of war by not calling it war, and we'll call it something else, like the Vietnam conflict.
Work. If you call it work, nobody will show up.
That's right. Call it work.
Right.
Call it commitment, and none of the men will show up, and then the fighting will stop.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a loaded one. Yes. What is that? I have to put my glasses on because it looks like GDF Fenderson.
Yeah, GD
Okay,
Fenderson.
nice to meet you all, Stephen and Mind Dog. Yeah. So the whole thing. You're right, GDF. It started, if you believe in the Bible at all, and you don't have to, but the two brothers that were twins were born, Esau and Jacob, and they started fighting. And then of course brainstorm Sarah was given this prophecy, Abraham's wife, that she was going to have a child in her old age like me. And she laughed and said, oh my gosh, God, who is this God that's telling me I'm going to have a kid in my 90s? So she gets the brainy idea of telling her husband to have sex with the Hagar, the Egyptian maidservant. And he says, oh yeah, bring her on, So they have this Ishmael kid, and that's the Arab nation. And God promised that he would bless the 12 princes of the Arab nation, but that he was going to give this particular land that's the course of problems. He was going to give the land of Canaan to Israel, the Jews.
Right. Now, what do you got for a hardcore atheist like Stephen? Stephen is a hardcore atheist, and on his deathbed, he called out not to God, but he made a promise that if he got through his ordeal and lived, that he would suck a big black cock. And then GD showed up at his house. And
to each his own. Actually, that's how I got on the show. So,
well, that's all right. There's different qualifications, different job descriptions for everybody. And you know what? I've been a rock chick, so whatever you say, I've been to parties with the Cars in Boston. That's where I live. That's where we played. That's where we got all that kind of other stuff going on. So you can't shock me with that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not, we're not trying to shock you. I'm just
it's simply
that he's a hardcore atheist.
He's smiling.
The reason he doesn't he's not a non-believer is because GD showed up and it was a small, wasn't a big.
Well, what do they think? Good things come in small packages. Is that what they say?
I wouldn't know. Never heard it.
False. Not only is that false, but I considered it a religious experience because although I said "Oh God" a lot, it was just because I just wanted to stroke his ego.
Oh, of course, just like people that swear and they say, Jesus Christ. I'm like, seriously? I used to cringe when I heard that. I'm like, I told my father, please stop saying that. It's just like, why? Pick something else,
I'm not religious, but I'm a devout follower of the Church of Last Resort. So, but I'm not religious.
Whatever, I don't, it don't bother me none, so let me be me and you be you.
Yeah,
that's it, so
absolutely.
If I talk about God, you guys shouldn't get all uncomfortable and offended. You should just say, okay, this is where she's at.
Realistically, I'm a Christian, but I'm a very loose Christian. Loose
whatever. I can tell you have something because you're smiling.
That's drugs.
He's very stoned. He's very stoned.
No, he's not because his eyes aren't glassy.
Actually, you both are right. You both are right. I'm a member of Daily High Club. Yeah, there they are. See,
I'm not Asian. You look like you need some coffee. That's all you need. All you need is Java. Do, 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 do. All you need is Java. Java is all you need. Yes, that's right.
This is still my first cup of coffee, but this cup, which is given to me by a guy named Brian Adams, not the Canadian who sings "Cut Like a Knife."
Cut like a knife. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But this will keep your first cup of coffee hot for like hours and hours. I poured this cup at like 7 o'clock this morning. It's still hot.
Oh, that's great. I drink coffee and it's cold as room temperature. My husband says, "How can you drink that stuff? It's been sitting in the cup for 3 hours." I'm like, the temperature don't bother me, but I like it hot at first. Yes.
Some like it hot. Yeah.
Some like it hot.
So now in your little thing there, it says music, books, and merch. So I'm assuming even though the overdose got you away from the rock and roll lifestyle, that you're still very much into music, or not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's in my bones, And, I was a struggling musician like a lot of us are. And had to get the ungodly, I call it, day job. So because I needed
your mouth.
I know. I mean, I'm like, oh, how do people do this? I wish I was famous. I need to just make a living. I don't need a mansion. I want to get signed. So I had A&R record label in Nashville in the 90s. And the guy didn't even look at me. This isn't when they still had Rolodex things, and he says, okay, at that time I was writing Christian music. He says, do you think we could pitch your music to Twyla Paris? And I'm like, Twyla Paris? She's wimpy, but I didn't say anything. Then he said, okay, well, how about Margaret Becker? I'm like, Margaret Becker? So I said to him, dude, I'm singing the music. You heard my CD. I'm singing it. And he says, oh, you don't get it. There's no such thing as an overnight sensation. It takes years of polish. And I said, here I am. I left my job in Maine. I was a postmaster on Bailey Island, Maine, and I gave that job up just to be here, sitting here with you. And he said,
Uh,
"Oh, you are too old. Nobody's going to sign you."
oh, the
Well, he
old
must.
ages.
Oh, ageism. Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what? I believe the lie. I had not yet heard the story about Michael Jordan, who was told in senior high school that he wasn't good enough to play basketball. I hadn't heard that story yet. So I believed the lie. I packed my bags and I went back to college and tried to be a missionary.
Now
Wow.
back to Maine, because my wife is from Maine and her family is still there. Most of her family.
Yeah.
So you you on an island in Maine?
Bailey Island. It's off the coast of Brunswick.
Okay, off the coast of Brunswick. Okay, all right.
And
Don't act
in
like there's
19
no islands in Maine.
Hello,
What-
Casco Bay
I'm
is it? 1990. Yeah, I really thought that I'd be happy if I got a real prestigious job for a woman, and it wasn't me. I'm like, I'm a
Did you
musician.
think of? I'm just curious. Did you think of a music career? Because the reason I'm saying is because in small towns, sometimes you can be the big fish in a small pond.
Right. Yeah,
And it sounds like you tried to be the big fish in the ocean, and they didn't want your kind of fish in their ocean. They said we already have big fish in our ocean.
Well,
he's been studying metaphors from me for a while.
Oh, that's good.
Obviously,
Yeah, he's with my dyslexia. I'm like, huh? Could you write that down, please? No, but no, we used to play in.
He was all over the map.
Yeah, we used to play in bar rooms and like blues. I was playing blues rock at that time. While I was a postmaster during the day. And,
Okay.
I remember playing at one bar in Lewiston, Maine, where they had a cage up on the stage, so if people started throwing shit at you, the band members wouldn't get hurt. And I'm like, the first time I'm like, I didn't care. I was so like, I'm going to bring it on, and no, but they liked us. They asked us back a couple times. It was a biker's bar. So, but I just, my heart wasn't in it anymore. I had experienced Israel. I was just trying to be somebody that I wasn't anymore.
Now, when you say you experienced Israel, does that mean you went to the country, or is this more like
Yeah.
a spiritual awakening?
I went there, and that's where I found out about JC being a Jew.
Oh, okay.
Did you see him there? Was he a street vendor?
I didn't see him anywhere. So, I've heard stories about him showing up at, when people pray to him, and I'm not going to knock that because,
Well, I've seen him in Toast. I've seen him in Toast. And
was that the bun? No, that was Sister, what's her name? The nun. They saw her in a bun somewhere in a bakery. The Mother
Sister
Teresa.
Mary Elephant?
Yeah, no, Mother Teresa. She was on a bun, and it made the news. Yeah, you guys, I guess you missed that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on, Stephen.
Stephen is dealing with
children.
Yeah.
We're good. Sorry about that.
Mother Teresa was not like a spiritual person most of her life. She was a dirty, rotten. But she was like me. She was like me. Basically, dirty, rotten, no good. Yeah. I think she found her mission much later in life. But that's
okay,
she found her missionary position much later in life.
Oh, really? Well, rock on. To each his own. You only have one chance here. What kind of legacy y'all gonna leave?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to live forever.
Okay.
I'm taking my
true. That's why
I'm selfish. I'm taking my legacy with me.
Yeah, it's you can tell he wants to live forever. That's why he's starting to dress like Joe Rogan, because he knows that Joe Rogan will live forever.
I don't know who Joe Rogan is.
Bless you.
Good for you.
I like you. I like you.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. Is that a sports guy?
No. He's
yes, no, he is a sports guy. He's an MMA announcer.
He did used to be a sports person.
MMA announcer, conspiracy theorist.
Oh, I don't
masculine.
understand. No. I don't understand those things.
So no, because I see pictures of you on stage in a Star of David thing. But you talk about Christian music. Do you define yourself at all? Are you a Christian? Are you a Jew? Where are you on the map?
Good question. You know what? If you're on a spiritual journey, it's about transformation. So if you have a spiritual encounter with God, you're going to be transformed. B'Tselem Elohim, from glory to glory, Imago Dei, if you want to say it in Latin. It's a basic known fact that you are changed, that you're spiritually feeding your soul. I'm a soul man. Da, 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 da. I'm a soul chick. Yeah, I'm a soul chick. So your soul is either teeny weeny weeny, like you mentioned the other thing. I was a GDF. He has teeny
Right,
weeny,
yeah.
or it grows and expands. So when you get older, like me, hopefully my soul shines. Like y'all, this year is my 70th birthday. So hopefully
Happy birthday.
you can see the soul shining within me. So
Wow.
you have a choice, though. You can be old and wrinkled up and pruny and bent over and complain about your aches and pains, or you can get stronger.
Well,
Stronger.
let me just say, you just answered that question like Donald Trump answers the question about his health care plan.
I don't follow him, so I don't, whatever.
No, but the question was, are you a Jewish or Christian? And you
Okay. Kind
basically
of
went
danced
on about
around it. I danced around
Blues
it.
Brothers.
Well, you know how it is. There's a lot of, you're asking me a loaded question, so it takes more than one bullet. So, okay, so I was on the journey. I started as a Catholic, then I left Catholicism, then I went down in Nashville, dabbled in different kinds of Christianity, even was a choir leader for an all-black church, Cumberland Presbyterian, they call
Wait a
it.
minute, they let you do that and you're not gay?
Yeah, this was in, let's see, what's this is in, I forget, was that in the 90s? Yeah, it must have been 98 or 99, something like that. Yes.
Even back then, there was still a gay requirement to be a choir director in a black church.
No, not at this place in Cleveland, Tennessee.
What kind of weird church are you in?
So then I went to Israel and I dabbled in, I learned about JC. But then I went on another missions trip to Egypt in 2000 and fell in love with an Egyptian. Oh yeah. And so I converted to Islam. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. I
Walk
converted
like
to
an
Islam.
I was going to say,
fell in love with an Egyptian.
Yeah, I learned the whole thing because I wanted to be somebody with my husband. And but anyway, that didn't work. So we got divorced. And so then I started pursuing Judaism. And now I am a full-fledged Jew.
So bottom line here is you're fucking crazy.
Well, the world would say I am, because I'm not the same person I was yesterday. But not like y'all think in a schizophrenic sense. I'm talking about a groovy soul. Groove is in the heart. Groove is in the heart.
How long have you been off drugs? 20 minutes?
I love it. I love it when people ask me people ask me if I'm on drugs. I'm like, no, I am not. I'm on high blood pressure medicine. I will say that.
All right.
No, but I got 19. What was that in 1980? 1986. I got off drugs. Yeah, 1986.
Wow. So
I wasn't even a drip down my daddy's leg back then.
Well, you're just a twinkle in his eye, weren't you?
I don't even think I was that then. I think he was like 15 at the time.
Possible. It's possible.
So in this morning, I didn't know how to describe you because our first guest was a comedian, and then I had something different because I don't know how. Do you think of yourself as an author, a musician, an evangelist? How do you define yourself? Or
you know what? That's a real good question, Mind Dog. And I'm having trouble finding my tribe because most people don't understand me. They don't.
Hey, you know what? Welcome to the tribe. Because let me tell you what. Our motto here is enjoy the suffering. All types of people here. And
that's right.
And then in my personal life, we are the weird people in the group.
We are.
So,
we're the world. Thank you, Stephen, for that vote of confidence. No,
every culture has their lost tribes. Mormons.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I don't consider myself lost. I'm just, like if you understand Jewish history, We didn't quite do things right as an Israelite, I'm talking about, and we got booted out of the land, and we've been making a comeback ever since 3,000 years ago. And so when you go through all these different cultures, you pick up things from other people. So I'm a concoction of all these different people I've been with. Now, the rock people that I used to hang out with in the 80s, which I was one, would totally don't understand me today. As a matter of fact, I lose my friends everywhere I go because I change from a caterpillar to a butterfly, and you just fly, like Elton John said, butterflies are free to fly away. So I am a spiritual being, to answer your question.
Well, I know I transformed from a caterpillar to a bulldozer.
That's true.
but-
I've been
I feel
called
like though,
bulldog.
of all the faiths that you followed as a Jew, you would be lost because those were the guys that couldn't find their way out of the desert for 40 years.
Yes, that's right. And they
So-
were all crispy critters because they pissed God off big time.
No,
Well-
I don't mean morally lost. I just mean like geographically
Physically-
can't find where
physically
they're
lost.
going. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well, that's
to be
what God
fair,
does,
there's
you
no
know.
roads. It's just sand. I mean, you basically
Well-
don't.
The
Which way
problem
were we
was-
going when we fell asleep? I
Y'all,
don't know.
y'all,
Rand
y'all,
McNally
y'all, let me-
did not do kosher maps, and Moses was reading his map from right to left as opposed to left to right. But the map was designed from left to right. That's why they were lost for 40 years.
Well, you
Everybody
know
knows
what?
that.
God said, let's just take it from the man himself. God said, go, lech lecha, go to a place that I will show you. In other words, take a step, but you don't know where you're going. If you go with
Did he-
God, you partner with him and he doesn't show you where you're going.
Did he say that in English? Did he say it in Hebrew? Did he?
Both.
What language did he say it?
Both. Go, lech lecha is Hebrew. Go to a place, and some people take it literally, some people take it spiritually. Go within yourself to a place of exploration that you've not yet known about yourself. All this stuff is already in us. So, you just have to pull it out through life sufferings, like Stephen said. You have to go through
Yeah.
suffering to grow.
All right, you got that, Stephen? Pull it out.
He's
Look at that
frozen.
face.
What did
He
you
is
say?
frozen. I said, pull it out. Pull it out.
You're
I don't wanna pull
suffering.
anything out.
He's talking about suffering. Yeah. So,
I'm
what am
enjoying
I?
the suffering. I'm not pulling it out.
Well, there you go. So, what am I? People have a hard time putting a label on me, and I'm trying to fight labels. That's what gets
Right.
people into trouble and divides them. So just
But,
let me be me.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, but
Why do you
a
have to
label
slap
like
a label
author
on
is
me?
well, a label like author is not like a negative connotation to
True.
it. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
or musician. And I don't say
Sure,
I'm not saying
yeah.
you have to choose one or the other. It's just like
Right.
clarifying where your interest is now, because you wrote this book, and I'm wondering why you wrote this book. What
Good
is
question.
the actual?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a musician since I was 22. So, and I'm still a musician. But I took this detour after the October 7th massacre. I really, I don't know if you ever felt something heavy in your heart and you needed to do something with it.
Prilosec.
It's called empathy, empathy for somebody. Yeah, you can do the Prilosec thing too. And so I felt compelled to write a book to explain to people about the origins of Palestine, because these secret documents had been hidden in the UK, were recently discovered, and it explains the division of the land according to the 20th century British Palestine. A lot of people think Palestine is Arab, and it wasn't. It was Jewish and Arab. And the Arabs were actually given Transjordan. But the Palestinians don't want the land that was given to them by the British in Transjordan. Jordan is 60% Palestinian. The Palestinians want Israel because they believe that the only good Jew is a dead Jew.
Now why don't we give them all like New Mexico? There's plenty of land there.
Well, that's
and no
another
people.
fight. That's
More cows.
another fight with a different people.
I mean, we're
And
fighting over land. Isn't there enough land on the planet
You would think so.
make
I
everybody comfortable?
mean, you know, my husband and I came from Georgia. We love riding through the wilderness and looking at all the trees and Mother Nature, and there's plenty of land around, but it's like a lot of Hispanics want to take back America or pieces of it because they, you know, Texas used to belong to them. So, but in this case with
Right.
Palestine, it belonged to the Jews 3,000 years ago. You know, they were there first. And all of a sudden, we've got this fictitious propaganda that says that Palestine belongs to the Palestinians. No, it doesn't.
Well, fair enough. But I think if you go back, because we can say there were people here who were not European when the Europeans got here, but they weren't. They weren't here first. They came across a land bridge or however they got here. Some of them came by raft across the Pacific. Whatever. Every piece of land was not. It was not necessarily owned by any group. People just moved in and made themselves comfortable. I mean, whatever that is. But
Really?
having been to Israel, did you feel that there's something special about that piece of land? Is it holy land?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, I had such a spiritual elevation. It's like better than any drugs I've taken. And it's actually the presence of God. It's possible. There's something magical about Israel. Yeah, even if you're an
so then the
atheist.
people who I just want to say people who God bless America. No, God bless Israel.
God bless us all.
Oh, but then there's nothing special about that land. If God is blessing everything
It's
on this
special.
planet.
Yes, you're right. Everybody has their place. That's the whole deal. And it's actually recorded in the Bible. And if people read it as more than just a reading pleasure, but as a factual historical document, you'd understand
But it's
that
not a
God.
factual historical document, though. There's
There
too
are
many
pieces. Yes,
there are
yes.
pieces, but there's too many inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Too many inconsistencies.
Of course, anything that's translated by a human being is going to have
Well, it's not
inconsistencies.
even. Sometimes not even translation. Some of it is actually just wrong.
Right. So that's why you have to read it in the original script.
Even in the original script, some of it's wrong. I mean,
You were there? Yeah,
you're
older than you look.
You know I was there.
He looks like Moses, doesn't he?
I used to babysit Joe Biden when he was a kid, and you know how old
Who's
he
that? Who's Joe Biden?
Me Gaza, two Gaza.
Yeah. Two Gaza is two Gaza. Yeah, let's open up the borders of America and give it all away.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, you can't look at the Bible as a historical document. It's or reading material.
Yeah, you sound like my sister. That's cool. Groovy.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying as a former minister, and you know.
Oh, you're a foreign minister of what?
Yes.
Of what?
Silly Walk.
Satire. Oh, okay.
He used to work for the Ministry of Silly Walk. Now, Evil Ian is what his name says. He's flat out evil. But his question is, God is real and everywhere. So why be obsessed and bloodthirsty over one plot of land? And this is really the root of my question. It's like, if Israel is that special, then America isn't. I mean, if this is just God cares so much about that little strip of land that's like the size of New Hampshire or something, or not even
New Jersey.
everything. Yeah, well, New Jersey is a better one. Yeah, because I think it is run by the Sopranos.
The mob.
Yeah. But I mean, if that is God's land, then the rest of us are just like outcasts.
Well, no, you don't understand the end of the story. When the Mashiach comes, the Messiah, everybody's going to be happy with the place that they're at. God's name is on Jerusalem, in the holy place, as the capital of the world, and everybody will know about the history and be happy where they are. I don't have all the facts because I'm not God, but there will be peace on earth. And that's what, while you're here, our job is to make the world a better place.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I think you are. You brought us here today to have a discussion. Now, JDF, why are your furrows wrinkling?
It's GDF, not JDF.
Oh, geez. Sorry. That's my dyslexia. Sorry.
And that's just my face.
Okay. You looked like
Yeah, resting bitch face. It's his face.
I have to apologize. I don't have to, but I wind up apologizing for that face quite often. People will look at me and go, "Why are you doing that?" And I was like, "It's just my face."
Yeah. Because I'm like, wait a minute, let me put my glasses on. Doesn't that say so GD funny? But your face looked like you sucked on a lemon.
I have.
Oh, you lemon sucker.
I find his face very offensive.
We were
to be
talking
honest
about lemons in the beginning, right? I think you're the lemon man. Yeah. I'm the lemon man.
Because he did something that we've asked him not to do, and he went and found out that you had Lyme disease. And we don't mind that he finds out these things about our guests, but he doesn't share them with the rest of us. He feels like, oh, I got something that nobody else knows, and keeps it to himself.
Okay,
I got a lot of
This
I
is why we send people on cruise ships to give him diseases.
Okay, first of all, I really hate debunking Matt. I don't like. I didn't research anything. When you copied and cut and paste this, Matt, the last sentence right here says, "With a bad, my rattled nerves, I came down with a bad case of Lyme disease."
Exactly.
Okay, that's
you
in the description.
That reading the description qualifies as research.
No,
You're
that's
not
not
supposed to do
research. That's not research.
Y'all. Get it
together. I come into this mother effer blind, not knowing what's happening, and just going along for the ride.
I just cut and paste stuff in and don't bother reading it. But I don't say don't bother reading it. But if you read it and you see something that you're going to want to share with people, you should mention it to the other people on the program so that we're not in the dark.
Even share. First of all, when you you work hard at this, okay? So I appreciate your effort. And so when you do something, when you put the effort in something, I try to show my appreciation by delving into what you've done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt, you do a good job.
You're glad you came into this, but you should know after 37 years on this program that I never read what I cut and paste in there. You should.
Well, I know you never corrected, but I didn't know you didn't read it also.
Because you're always picking up spelling errors and or all that kind of
stuff. So I knew you didn't correct anything. I just didn't know you didn't read it. I thought you just didn't care.
It's getting deep in here. Who's got boots?
You are correct. I don't care to the point where I don't even bother reading it. That's the point.
Okay, Matt.
Yes. So is the book doing well? Are you not?
Thank you for asking. And the title of the book is Jewish Palestine, Arab Palestine, A History of Conflict. And you can find it on Amazon. And I think I've already got 55 reviews. It's been out for 90 days. And I need to get 100 good reviews before Amazon will put it higher up in the search. So, you know, and it only counts if you give good reviews. So if you give me a crappy review, that's not going to be good.
I will go and give you a good review after I read it. But I just want to know, why is there no Italian Palestine?
The Italians were involved somehow in the history. Now, I'm not a history teacher. When I was a high school teacher, my day job, I never told you what my day job was, as a public high school teacher. And I think Italy was somehow involved in World War I when the Arabs fought. They joined the British to fight against the Turks, the Ottomans. So when there was a settlement, because British was in control of the land of British Palestine, Italy got in there somewhere. And I didn't pay attention to that, but to give Italy credit, they were in the process of
Italy really has been around since the same time as Israel has, since 1948. Really, people think Italy is like forever. It was just like a whole bunch of different city states. But this place called Rome, I don't know if you've heard of it, but at the time, Rome owned that piece of land that
they ruled it. They
owned
it. Yeah, they ruled. Actually, God owned it, and He gave it to Israel. And Roman came in and let the Jews live the way they wanted to, except they started desecrating their temple, and finally burned it down.
It's not really Israeli Palestine or Arab Palestine. It's Roman Palestine. Romans are Italians. Who were the taxes paid to? So we actually own it. So I'm going to tell everybody.
Yeah,
get the
in
hell out.
in that decade, you're earlier. You're earlier. We're talking about World War I, 1940s, 1920s. You know.
I think me and my
I
Goombas
don't
are going
think
to move in.
the Romans weren't there then. Yeah, yeah, they weren't there
So,
then. It's like, you
Wha-
know,
uh,
America, like, hello, the U.S. history books have been tainted because they talk about the Native Americans and how it was a lovey-dovey relationship on Thanksgiving, but it doesn't tell you
it
how.
wasn't?
No, well, you know, the first generation Native Americans were okay with the settlers from England, but then something happened in the second generation of was it the British that didn't like, they wanted to snuff out the Native Americans, and they did, unfortunately, a very sad trail of tears, you know, that President Andrew Jackson was not all that he didn't deserve to be on the $20 bill, but, you know,
but the
they did
Papoosetuck have
bad.
survived. The Papoosetuck have survived, and that's all
You
that
know,
really matters.
I
hate
really
to,
feel for the Native Americans. I really feel for them.
I hate to put this out there, but on my mom's side of the family, I am a relative of Andrew Jackson.
Well,
Figured.
you know, doesn't
No big
doesn't have to
surprise there.
be. You can
I
change,
know.
you know. The change is possible for us all.
Oh, I
You
know.
know?
I'm a first generation non-racist. I know. I get it. I
Oh,
just
well, that's good. I'm so glad
comes
you're a
from both sides of the
non-racist.
family. It's ingrained deep.
Yeah, yeah. So did you research it and find out the truth of what they did to the Native Americans?
Oh yeah, it's not really a secret. It was bad.
Yeah.
In
They wore
fact,
it like
I'm
a badge of honor.
uncomfortable sitting
And, you
here
know,
next to
like
GD right
Jefferson,
now. But
I mean, what about President Jefferson? He was having sex with his slave there and actually had a kid, at least one kid. You know, nobody talks
Yeah.
about Thomas Jefferson and his adultery, you know.
We were talking about him yesterday in
Yeah, we
exactly
talked about
that
it.
context.
Yeah,
So,
as a matter of fact, we were actually talking about his great grandson George Jefferson and how he moved on up to the east
he
side.
did move on up
Moving
to the
on
east
up
side.
to the east side.
Now, is there any word that we could say that would not trigger a song in you?
No. Well, let's see. I'm not a Floyder.
You don't like Pink Floyd, or you just
No,
don't?
I never did. I was Alice Cooper, Led Zeppelin-ish.
All right.
Chrissy Hynde. Yeah.
Oh,
So you're a pretender.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Chrissy,
You're in my
just
heart
told me the other
and
day.
in my soul.
Wow. Ouch.
Well, Matt has brass in his pocket.
Yeah.
Brass in pocket. Yeah. I got brass in pocket. I don't know the words though. You know, I know the
I
Beatles
can't
words.
find the image. But there is speaking of the Native Indians, we are Native Americans. I'm sorry.
Yes,
The
we changed that, didn't
Pominoke
we?
powwow. The Pominoke powwow is scheduled for tomorrow in Tanner Park, Copeg, Long Island. Probably going to get rained out, but I'm a little offended that my tribe, the Papoosetuck, is not included in this. And in my hometown, nonetheless, they are excluding us from the big powwow.
They are. I'm in the tribe of Gesundheit.
Yeah.
No, I'm Matt. I just got an alarm from Govs.
Gov?
Club,
Gov. Yeah, we have to say
yeah.
goodbye to Governor's Comedy Club.
Yeah.
I forget who's there tonight. Do you remember who's there tonight?
No, you told me not to research it.
Yeah, that's right. I did tell you that. Yes. So